Southern Indiana stories unfold. Local leaders sharing how they grow. Stories behind success. Real voices with the real stories next. Evansville rising, Southern Indiana strong. Making our region where businesses belong. Stories behind success.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the KrohnCast here at Augusta National. With me today is a good friend and mentor, Greg Risch. He's had several executive roles in the area, very involved in the community. We met at a nonprofit about 5 years ago and have remained good friends and golf buddies and patrons ever since.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, so I wanted to start off with your background. So, I mean, you've been involved in a lot of nonprofits.
Yes.
You've held several executive roles,
Yes.
had a lot of leadership roles. Tell me
Yes.
about all that.
Well, I guess, okay, there's work history that leads up to things, and then ultimately, the older you get, the more your passions come out, and the more you're thinking about your time
Yep.
and how useful it is, and your passions on how they're going to be fulfilled. How are you going to achieve something or get something done?
Mm-hmm.
I think the fallacy when I was younger is hey, if you work and pay your bills and pay your taxes and you're a good citizen,
Yeah.
then that's life, and that would be a shame, because
That
it would
would
be
be.
like being a wallflower and you really didn't accomplish anything. And it looks different for everybody, which makes the world go round. But
It does.
Yeah. So I had to find out where are my passions, and they change over time too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been in charge of several, or a lot of people over time. So how many people do you think you've had leadership roles over?
I don't know. It's easy to say thousands, but I think the bigger picture is you can think about how many people you work with or that are under your umbrella,
Mm-hmm.
but really think bigger. Really, you got the suppliers, that are helping you at work, your
Mhm.
partners. You got your customers. You got all of those people and their families
Mm-hmm.
that are also kind of counting on you.
Yeah.
So no pressure, but
No.
when you think about it at any one point, if there's 100 people or 1,000 people in your organization, it's a multiple of that in regards to people that you're impacting with your decisions or your leadership.
Yeah.
Good or bad.
It's a lot.
So, yeah, it is a lot.
So and that was work related. So you've been involved in a lot of stuff, nonprofit wise. What all have you been involved with besides Ronald McDonald House, where we met?
Yes. So Ronald McDonald House was probably my first real dive into, getting deep into it. And so everybody's got a personal connection to whatever they're serving in for a nonprofit. And so certainly had one there. And so that was a good long run. Otherwise, been involved in chamber type of activity, both in Evansville and in Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
Henderson is home for us. And so that's kind of where it started. Certainly, Deaconess have been on their hospital board for quite a long time.
It's a big board.
It is. I am on Kentucky Wesleyan College's Board of Trustees. I went there many years ago, and so I've stayed involved and happy to serve as a trustee there. Lots of other little things along the way, and the things that nobody would recognize are the things you get pulled in on by another community member. It's not necessarily an established nonprofit. It's more like an initiative.
Mm-hmm.
So countless initiatives that are like somewhat behind the scenes pushing or lobbying for something to, make something happen.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not a lot of headlines in that. And sometimes there's absolutely not a lot of glory in that.
No.
But man, it's so fulfilling.
It is.
Yeah, it's fun to be a part of things like that.
Yeah, being involved in so many boards myself. I mean, I think I spend almost just as much time with the nonprofits that I do with both my jobs.
But it feels this.
Feels so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm handling calls evening, mornings, afternoons, in between work meetings, saying, we need this.
You have to be good at juggling, don't you?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Very good at juggling. So that was a lot about work. So through your time with nonprofits and work, what are some mistakes you've made or life lessons you've learned over your career?
I've made none. Dylan.
That's what I was going to say.
I would say that, like, if I think about mistakes in the past, they could all, if you pare them down and if you track them, it all comes back to some kind of miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
Or you think you communicate. I have this thing, I'm very aware of it. But when I was younger, I wasn't so aware. I thought things were very clear, hey, we're going from point A to point B. Everybody got it? Yeah, everybody's got it. Shouldn't have to say it again. Not everybody gets it. And not everybody wants it. And
No.
so there's different agendas, and not everybody hears things the same way. Jamie and I share 5 kids, and they all are all different, right? They're like as unique as snowflakes, like anybody. So if we give them one message or one piece of communication, maybe 3 of them get it, maybe 1 of them gets it. But it's just the reality of not everybody hears and communicates the same way. And I always assume that people thought like me, or they could see it as clearly as me. And so when they didn't, that leads to frustration.
Yeah.
That's just the basic thing. So communicating and then circling back and communicating again, can't do it enough in different ways. But there's group communication and then there's one-on-one. And that's what I had to learn, is that the touch points one-on-one, and that relationship means just as much as the communication. Because if they don't trust me to begin with, or they don't really know what's going on, if the communication wasn't full enough, then they really don't understand why.
Yeah.
And so getting people bought in, that's the difficult part. That's leadership.
Yeah. So from beginning to end, have you gotten much better at that with your latest role?
I think it's a work in progress type of thing, because you continue to get, as I've changed roles or changed companies, and people come and go. People don't always just get a job and stay there forever. And so I'm constantly meeting new people. And so new challenge. It's
Learning their
a new puzzle to
communication
figure
ways,
out.
yeah.
It's a new puzzle. And so it's a constant thing.
Yeah, some people have to be shown, some people have to be told.
Yeah.
Some people don't want you to tell them, some people don't want you to show them.
And in my latest role, it's such a change for me, because I've jumped into an industry that I've never participated in. And I go from, having a company that I worked at for 25 and a half years, where everybody in the company knew me, in multiple countries, and a lot of the customers, a lot of the suppliers, people in the community, and then all of a sudden I'm talking with customers and suppliers and team members that don't know me, and so I have to convince them that I'm a good guy and that I know what I'm doing, and but
it's not hard
I
for
have
you
to
to
listen. I have to listen a lot, right? So right now the dial is more on the listen than the talking. That's
why my old pastor used to say you have 2 ears and one mouth. So, but if you've established your credibility, really, that's what it's about. If you've established that, and if you've spoken clear enough on the strategy and how you want to go about things, then it becomes a lot easier. But when people don't know you, or they don't really know how or where you're going, well, then it's so you got to go a little slower. And you got to be. It's much more important that you're consistent. If you've built a lot of credibility, I mean, you can slam it by doing something really bad, like lying, cheating, stealing, but that's not on the table. No. But you have to be more consistent as you are earning credibility. So being super clear, but just being aware of, okay, who's really in, or who doesn't get it, who's going, I don't know, who's the, hey, this is how we've always done it person. Those are out there too, so they're harder to win over, right? Oh yeah.
So that's the challenge. So it's a never-ending thing. It's about personal relationships and communication. So
how would you do that with people in different countries that you had to talk to?
Well, some of them are English speaking, so it's not as hard. Okay. But I had responsibilities in Mexico, and thankfully I had 5 years of Spanish, but they don't teach you business Spanish, in high school. So that was a whole nother, level of vocabulary that I had to learn. But, unless you do it a lot, it's kind of hard, but making a little bit of effort goes a long way. But it's just one more barrier, right? Yeah. And so you have to, not only that, but it's a different culture. So how they communicate, or, how much they, like, you can hold somebody accountable here and be super clear and maybe even like a little tough, right? Yeah. Fair, but tough. Whereas maybe in another country, it's not how they work. No, not at all. You're completely offensive. So you have to be aware of how things roll, and so that you're not, breaking all the rules. Or you learn some hand gesture that's completely cool here is not, in another place. So you just have to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on. Yeah. But, when you're in another country, the most respectful thing you can do is to give their language a shot. Even if you just completely blow it, it doesn't matter. They appreciate it, right? Oh, yeah. Like how many times do you speak with someone who's trying English and they're getting it all wrong? Correct. But you get what they're saying. Yeah. And you really appreciate that, because you can't speak their language. No, not at all. Of course, today, I guess you could pull out a phone and, let it translate for you. But the effort goes a long way. Yeah. That hits home literally, because Molly's not going to watch this, obviously. So we can say whatever we want about Molly. So it's kind of like Thursday night at the Hills. She's the best, but communication, that's perfect. It's kind of like we're in a foreign country sometimes at home. Sure. It's like, does she want to be whatever you're doing at work, like the principles or the communication styles or the leadership or the whatever, it absolutely applies in real life.
Oh yeah.
And I say real life outside of work,
Yeah.
in the community, at home, doesn't matter, right? It all goes like that. There was a time, I want to go back 3, 4, 5 years ago at Gibbs Die Casting in Henderson, that we started a leadership academy, and it was so awesome. And it was really for people who haven't like been through basic leadership training.
Yeah.
And some people were like, oh, I've done this. I've read the books. I don't know why I need to do this. And then they come out of it and they're just like a little bit on fire, and they're blown away. 100% of the people were blown away. Here's the big thing that I wasn't expecting, is that at the end of this period, and it was, a number of weeks, like we're talking a few months of Fridays, a couple hours each week, and we had someone fantastic, Kathleen Lapicus, shout out to her at the Henderson Community College. She has been our facilitator, and she was great. And at the end, we all gathered for like a celebration graduation lunch, and people talk about what they learned, what they liked, and what they're implementing at work. And here's where it went, where I never thought it would, is I think it was in the second class, we had somebody that, they got real. And a lot of people are very nervous to stand up in front of, even if it's 20 or so people, including a CEO. I'm the least intimidating CEO you'll ever meet, but they've never done it. They've never put a PowerPoint together. They've never had to like present and speak. And so that's intimidating by itself. But this person, I so appreciate them. I'm not going to call them out by name, but they said that what they learned in the class, and in particular the aspect of how do you speak to different generations, because they all hear and act differently and they have different priorities. And so you can't talk to the 65-year-old like you do the 22-year-old. And so just to be aware of that and to think about that as you go around the facility or talk to your people. What this person realized is his relationship with his son was being held back by his communication styles.
Oh.
And that class like turned the light bulb on.
Yeah.
How he needed to step it up and change how he's communicating to his kid, and has meant the world of difference to his family. I wasn't looking for that. No. I wasn't expecting that. But it just reminds me of, all the stuff that we're talking about.
It applies everywhere.
It applies. So, man, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
You think you're trying to, peddle widgets and sell them to a customer for profit.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, unintentionally, people's lives are being changed.
Yeah.
So that's the good stuff.
Speaking of life changing, we had coffee a few weeks ago. You had mentioned somebody was making phone calls to tell them how much they changed their lives.
Yes.
I want you to talk about that again, because I think that's a great communication piece that would change people's lives.
So shout out to Linda White. This goes back to it's a trick she has up her sleeve, and she's pulled it before this moment. But we started the Tri-State Women's Network from Gibbs. Gibbs has 830 people, and 30% of them are female. And so, there's a lot of women in manufacturing, and people don't think about that. And so they wanted to do a lunch, and then before you know it, we create a network. And I'm like, go. And so their first big event, Linda was the main speaker, and the whole team did a great job pulling the event off. But Linda has this thing where she, gets people to raise their hand on, hey, think about somebody who's been very meaningful to you. Yeah. And, think about what that person's meant to you, and, think about how you're going to be that person to somebody else. And so, raise the hands if you have that person right in your mind, And so, of course, most people are raising their hands. Boom, she calls on somebody. Tell me who your person is, right? Okay, so they do, right? They feel safe.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all women, and then me standing in the background. And so somebody starts talking about it, and she said, well, have you told that person? I think they know. I think they know. No, have you told that person? And so it was a huge reminder of me of, being super clear in regards to that, because her point was, well, you should tell them that.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like, okay, yeah. Well, do you have their phone number? Can you just call them right now? Here you are, and there's
all these
200 people, and you want me to make a phone call, to this person, and it's quite emotional, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's crying, but it's so meaningful. And then, Linda asked, I need to raise the hands of who's committing to do this before the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's just a reminder to tell those who have helped you and who have meant a lot to you, let them know.
Yeah. And after we had that coffee, I wrote you a letter. I was like, I can't call him and tell him. I said, I'm going to get emotional too. It's going to be too awkward. So I said, I'll just write you a letter.
I really appreciate it. I'm a big fan of the handwritten notes.
Yeah.
A big fan.
Oh, me too.
It may be an old practice. It is still very effective.
Yeah. I try to write probably 5 a week, and I will still get a text 3 or 4 times saying, I never get these anymore.
This is great. Yeah.
I'll even write it to buddies my age, and they're like, I've never gotten one before. They're like, what is
They're
this?
like, you could have just texted them.
Yeah.
No, it's different, right? Yeah, it hits different, right?
It does.
Yeah, it was very meaningful. It's very intentional, and it's a permanent record of it. It's not just a, hey, thanks, man, appreciate you.
Yeah, so Chat GPT where you can see a little dash in there, be like, he just put in a few words and said, write something nice.
Yeah. But that just goes with the whole thing of, I mean, life's fast.
It is.
It goes fast. You know, you've got a little one, you got another one coming. You know, don't blink.
I know.
Don't blink. They're going to be stealing the car keys before you know it.
Oh, no.
So, you know.
Well, hopefully the lawnmower keys first.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they get some work out of them. But life goes fast, and so be meaningful, and you know where you are and who you can impact, and make sure that it's so, like your notes. Trust me, they're going to inspire somebody to be a little more thoughtful, a little more meaningful. Whether they do that or they do something else, that's what it is. It's all infectious type of behaviors.
Yeah. Communication is key, whether it's thanking somebody or trying to tell people how to do stuff. Yeah. So the final question I have for you, over all your years and everything you've done, whether it's business advice, life advice, what would you like to tell everybody about what you've learned?
Wow, so much. Assuming we still have a couple of hours left, I think I can finish.
I don't have my tea time for another 2.5 hours.
I would say for overall, just be very aware. Be aware of what's going on. I think the natural, how we were born, how we were made, is to take care of ourselves and to not necessarily be, you know, ugly selfish, but you know, the natural thing is to be a little more self-centered and to be concerned about yourself. And you can't help others if you don't take care of yourself. So I'm not talking about not taking care of yourself, but I'm saying be more aware of others and around you, because there's a lot of things going on, and you can be a big difference with a little bit of an effort, whether it's a note, pat on the back, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
The two most important questions I think that I ask people when I chat with them, and you can only really do this one-on-one, because if it's a big group, then it can't go there. But the two questions are, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And you know, what do you think is the most common answer?
Good.
Fine.
You?
Doing good. So yeah, fine. Second question. This is, I mean, don't write this down because you'll remember it. No, really. How you doing? I mean, I'm talking like 95% of the time, the answer is, and then they let it out because they know you're sincerely asking. And that's the meaningful part. People are used to the drive-by. Hey, what's up? How you doing? And you're still walking. You know? Yeah. No, really, seriously. You know, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm really asking. I know what's going on. Because there's something going on.
Yeah.
Nobody has nothing going on.
No.
Somebody has something going on. It's a little too easy to say that everybody has a storm going on in their life. Typically two. And I've given speeches on this topic. It's you know, lots of things. We don't have time for it today, but it's a big deal to be aware of what's going on around you, and to sincerely, you know, dive in. And I think overall, what that goes back to is just being super intentional. And you're going to run into people randomly, you know, in your day, but it's about being intentional when you do, and connecting with those people. So for me, I think about, okay, if I'm going to be intentional, what am I being intentional about? Well, I'm going to be intentional about things that are important to me.
Yeah.
So being aware, that's kind of where I'm going, is being aware of what's going on around you and figuring out what is the most important things to me.
Yeah.
Now, if I make a list of all the things that are important to me, and then I show you my checkbook and I show you how I spend every minute of the day, if those don't line up, well, then make a change.
Yeah.
And get after it, right? So I'm very intentional about goals because I want to accomplish a lot of stuff. It blows most people's minds saying that's ridiculous. You can't do all that stuff, but you know, yeah, you can if you set your mind to it.
Yeah.
If you say that, just going to make this up, that golf is the most important thing to you, but you never practice and you play sparingly, well, I don't think it's really that important to you, right? So the flip of that, right? So if it's meaningful to you, you're going to spend time at it. You're going to read about it. You're going to watch it. You're going to talk to other people. Maybe you're going to get lessons. You're going to get better equipment. Shout out, Molly. It's okay if Dylan buys new equipment.
I already did.
Help.
I didn't tell her.
So for me, it's about being intentional in every area of your life. And again, it's not just knowing what's important, but it's also ranking it.
Yeah.
So, what's most important to you? It's pretty clear most people they're gonna put family, up there. Faith and family are always 1 and 2, whether they're, 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I think you have faith, family, then work, and
community.
Then, yeah.
And so do your goals reflect that? How you spend your time, how you spend your resources. So it's easy to say, look at your checkbook or look at your time. I say easy, but you got to track those things. But also, how do you track this? Where are you really putting your energy? Even when in your downtime, if you're riding in the car to work and, you're not on the phone with anyone, you're not doing anything, you're not necessarily listening to a great podcast that are out there. If you really just have some me time, what are you thinking about? Where are you putting your energy and how you're planning on, doing something?
Yeah.
But when the head hits the pillow, and mine is cool on both sides, because I'll know that, I gave it a good shot, is that, where are you going to be meaningful today? And who is it going to be with? And it may be, I don't even know who really needs the touch point today, but it's going to be somebody, if not 5 people.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to be aware of it as I pass people, and I'm going to, intentionally ask them the 2 questions.
I'm going to have people crying today at ECC. I'm like, how are you doing?
They've been like, I don't have time for
this. How are you doing? Yeah. I know there's 1 or 2 things. Greg told me.
Yes.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is.
Some people are more willing to share than others.
Yeah.
But, just to know that you asked.
Yeah.
They may circle back to you later when they do have time, or they've put some thought on, how do I tell him this, or how do I communicate to
him? Don't want to say it in front of everybody on the first tee. Like,
for sure. Yeah. And then they'd score a horrible score, and they look at you and go like, you got me.
You want to know how I'm doing?
Yeah. But if somebody's up on you by a couple of strokes on the 8th hole, throw that question
Hey, I heard you weren't doing well. How are you doing?
What's going on? I think that the last thing I'd leave everybody with is as I've gotten older, I think less about competing with the people that are around me. And I think about, and I look back at some of the things that I was like personally fulfilled. Yeah. And it wasn't even me winning. It was other people winning, but maybe I put a little wind at their back, or I helped them. And that kind of like fueled me to, okay. And so all of a sudden I realized, being a good teammate, like helping other people succeed is a big deal.
Yeah. Cause you put that on a piece of paper that I saw in years past. It's like, we're all working together. Like, we have one goal. Yeah. And so if I can help you, we're all going to win.
The more you help somebody else, man, they're really going to appreciate you. More gets done. The more you're sitting back going, that person's winning and I'm not. Yeah. They're going to get the promotion. Don't worry, it'll come. You're a great teammate and you're chipping in and you're helping everybody. People will see that. And when the openings come, that's the guy, that's the girl. We need to put that person's the one who helps everybody.
It's a teammate right there.
Hey, Mr. Rogers said it, find the helpers. Find the helpers. They're the ones that make a difference in the world.
Yeah. It's a good answer. And one other thing I wanted to touch on, I saw your
bonus question.
It is a bonus question because you reminded me of something. Now we're turning into marital counseling.
Here we go.
So the personal goals you have each year are incredible. And that's what you had said earlier. People are like, that's just way out of touch. So go over your personal goals, or some of them at least.
High level.
That you think are key.
So think 1 pager, right? Maybe legal size paper because it's a lot. On top is a bar, and that bar is going to have, mine has, I think, 4 or 5 bullet points. And these are the non-negotiables. This is my character, integrity, faith, is that if I don't do those things, if I'm not true to who I am and what I want to be, forget, the rest of it. So that's why it's overarching and it's at the top of the page. And then on one side of the page are things that are more about personal or family. Yeah. So to the marital advice, it's very intentional. I want to have 50 date nights with my wife. And that's not just like, cooking spaghetti at home. These are serious date nights, like intentional, that. As much as you guys are so excited to have 1.5 kids, you got 1 on the way and 1 there. It's so easy to dive in and make them the center of the universe. Correct. You and Molly are the center of the universe. Yeah. This doesn't work without you and Molly, right? Yeah. So as Jamie and I have gotten older, I've gotten a little wiser and taken a lot of advice from other people to say, okay, you got to focus on that. I want to have so many weekend getaways with her. I want to have so many, week-long vacations with her to connect, and that's a must. Everything goes sideways in my life if I'm not doing that. Correct. and one of our goals for the rest of our kids or family is love each of them as they each need it.
Yeah.
And Dylan, don't get the wrong impression. We fail at this all the time, but it's intentional that we want to do that, and we tell our kids, hey, how can we, what can we do for you?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's writing a check, sometimes it's not writing a check because that's not helping.
Yeah.
So it looks different for everybody, and it's the same thing for friends, right? So if you go to the other side of the page, they're more, other type of goals, and as far as community, friends, and all that. And same thing, love your friends however each needs it. Read so many books, go to so many concerts, do all these things. So at the end of the year, may or may not have achieved all of them. Maybe I overachieved in some, but the idea is that I was very intentional about how I wanted to spend my year. And when my head hits the pillow on December 31st at probably 9 to 10 p.m., I'll know that I gave it a good shot.
Yeah.
And I spent my time, which is, it's limited, life's short.
It is.
I've done the things that I really wanted to do. But I got to flip all that. Now I'm going to talk out of the other side of my mouth. If you're if you set all those goals, and you track them and you're on it, if you do that and you ignore things that come up in your life, you've probably lost. Yeah. You're no longer aware of what's going on in your world because you're just focused on, I want to, click on all these goals and go kill it, Yeah. But you've missed, loving a teammate or a cousin or a whatever on something they're going through because you're so focused. Well, then you just have missed the boat, So be aware and roll with it. Nobody's giving you a grade at the end. No. But be very intentional about what's important to you and then get after it.
Yeah, I saw that, and so I was like, I need to make my own little checklist.
And make it yours. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely cut with 2 kids, it's gonna be hard to.
It is, but be realistic, right? And don't knock yourself out trying to do it. But also, I would say that when you get done with your draft of it, that's when you slide it over to Molly and say, what do you think about this? Because we're in this together. Yeah. Right. And so she's got to be behind it, and she has to support what you're doing too. And she'll be the first one to tell you you're nuts, or, hey, you're undershooting here, you're overshooting here. This is not as important
50
as this.
Date nights.
But,
100.
She might like it, she might not. But, but yeah, you want her in on it too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's only so much time in the day, but like I had said, this is a sweet brag. Been getting up at like 4 in the mornings just to walk and then read the Bible a little bit and then go to the gym and then get to work. And it's...
What time do you go to bed?
It's like 8:30 or 9.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
you need some sleep.
I need sleep so bad. Yeah, because I was on the phone with you until 8:30 and I was like, my watch was dinging me going, time for bed. I was asleep like that. Yeah. One bonus question. What's your favorite book?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I like to read a lot of biographies. I like to read. I'll throw in a fiction just for pure entertainment. Yeah. But otherwise, if it's anything on leadership or faith, then that's what I do. Yeah. But in particular, on my goals where I want to read 18, 20, 24 books a year, I will rotate. So I'll do a biography. I'll do a leadership. I'll do a faith, and then I'll just read a complete fun read. That goes in 3 days or something. But it's all over the place, but I would have to say the Go-Giver book is my favorite.
You gave that to me. Yes,
it's really,
I knocked that out in like
short.
2 days.
Yeah, it's really brief, but it's impactful and it's meaningful. So
there's like 3 different books in that series, right? Or
there's
4?
More than that. There's like six or 7.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the sales leader. There's all kinds of them. But yeah, the basic, the red one and the blue one. If you're going out on Amazon, the red one and blue one are the ones to read.
Yeah, because I think I bought 2 or 3 of those books and gave it to other people. I was like, just spend 2 evenings reading it, and you'll knock it out.
I had one person give me. I was unaware of it, and I had one person, dear friend in Henderson, Dan Todd. Shout out to him; he's the best. He gave it to me, wrote me a little note, and it's like, it just really opened my eyes to other things. And so, since then, I bought the second book, and then there's no way I've bought less than 200 or 300 of those over the last 5 years to give them to other people. And
it goes back to your earlier point, Go-Giver's all about helping others, and then you all succeed in the end. Yeah. Well, thanks for the advice and coming on. It's great to have you.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, live from Augusta National, friends. I'll see you next week with a special guest. I believe it is my good friend Frank Rinkowich. He just wrote a book on ALS and his battles with it. So be sure to tune in for that. And then follow us on Facebook and like us on YouTube. Thanks. See you guys next week.
From the river towns to the open road, Southern Indiana stories unfold. Local sharing how they grow.